Arc Raiders is a huge success story. 100 to 400,000 gamers playing it at the same time on Steam alone puts it at number 5 of the most played Steam games and at number 1 excluding the free-to-play games. Arc Raiders provides a lot of fun PvP and PvE with many cinema moments. That being said, it's not without problems. There are many things that could change to make this great game even better, but I won't be talking about obvious things like bugs that pretty much every game this scale has early on, and it's not a problem that can be totally eliminated within a week or two. I won't also talk about cheaters that ruin this and every other multiplayer FPS. If you don't think there are many cheaters in this game, just search YouTube. There are plenty of vids where proud cheaters show off how they kill whole lobbies. Yes, cheating is a big problem, but to be fair, it's not something Embark can change easily. Cheating has been a big problem of pretty much every multiplayer FPS, and while some games have more cheaters than others, it's not like Embark can easily get rid of cheaters. In this vid, I will name 5 things that Embark can improve in Arc Raiders without much effort. I will start with the smallest problems and end with the biggest one in my opinion. At number 5, most needed improvement, I got boring tasks and quests. I don't have this problem higher because most of them are not required to do, but in my opinion, if a developer decides that their game should have quests, then at least make them somewhat interesting. Quests in Arc Raiders feel like at Embark somebody decided that this game should have some quests and they gave it to an intern to create them in an hour to come up with 40 quests. Pretty much all the quests are go to point X and pick up or interact with Y. Sometimes you can do it throughout many raids, sometimes you have to finish it in one raid, but it's always 10 minutes of running to a point. You also have all the items you need to collect for projects and workbenches. Yes, some items are a good idea like leaper purses or bastion cells because obtaining them require at least some PvE action. But I'm not looking forward to the next time I will have to run around the map looking at trees to collect mushrooms or any other boring item. The trails are somewhat better because normally a few of them require you to fight PvE, but all these search supply drops, collect plants, or crouch and press E for 15 minutes to collect 80 snowballs, or stay in line for 20 minutes to download some data are Embark basically warning us to do boring tasks. Tries should be definitely more like doing damage to queens or matriarchs, and if you want to be creative, let's do melee damage to Arc instead of search probes. At 4, most needed improvement, I got too many late spawns. While I can understand that not all players should spawn in at the beginning, to me it feels like Embark has way overdone the late spawns. Especially on Queen and Matriarch events, this makes no sense. One day I counted and out of 9 Queen and Matriarch raids in a row I only got 1 fresh spawn and all the other spawns were at 90 or 20 minutes when the Queen was already dead and I spent 30 minutes spawning in with a 100k plus loadout, running to the nearest extract and queuing up for another Queen event. With tries, it's a similar problem because it's generally impossible to get a good score if you spawn in with 19 minutes left. I think the idea of late spawns might have been so raiders even after winning the first 1 or 2 fights still had to worry about new spawns. But from what I see, a lot of players loot up, maybe have 1 fight and extract with the loot after 5-6 minutes. So what's the point of late spawns when a lot of raiders extract already with the good loot? In my opinion, the late spawn limit should be at 5 minutes into a raid. Maybe allow later spawns, but only for free loadouts. At number 3, most needed improvements, I got Arc robots are too easy to kill. Sure, when Arc Raiders came out and players didn't have a stash of good loadouts and nobody really knew how to easily kill each Arc, this wasn't the problem. I remember running around with only an anvil and trying to kill a bastion, or even queuing up with friends for a Queen event, each with a cheap loadout and just shooting somewhere at the Queen and failing to kill her. Back then it wasn't super easy to kill Bug Arc, but now there is no challenge. Bombardier or bastions walk up from behind with 3 trailblazers and they're gone in 3 seconds. Queen dead in less than 60 seconds. Look at this rate. I got a fresh spawn. I ran to her for 1 minute. First shot is fired at 28:36. Players are loaded with full crackers, wolf packs, and legendary weapons. I get on top of her within a few seconds, do some damage, jump down to grab the loot from a leg, and at 27:38, within 58 seconds from the third shot, she dies. This is a solo lobby. No raiders get knocked out. Many don't even make it to the fight before she is dead. Matriarch dead within 2 minutes. It takes 70 seconds to run from fresh spawn to the Matriarch. At 28:25, somebody fires the first Bullcracker grenade at it. 10 seconds later, I'm on it, and 26:19, it dies. That's 2 minutes and 6 seconds. To be fair, the Matriarch is the only event left that is somewhat challenging, since the Matriarch spawns in Leapers, Rocketeers, Bastions, Bombardiers, and together they can catch you off guard. But normally, if a raider dies, it's because they rushed the Matriarch to grab the lag loot. I'm not saying that ARC raiders need tough bosses like World of Warcraft had, where some teams tried over 700 runs before they got a world first boss kill, but at least make them some of top arc difficult enough to kill, then at least half of the raids don't end up with the big arc dying. I hope Embark introduces the king or the emperor that they have shown us so far. For April they have a new large arc in the roadmap. In the meantime, maybe have a queen and matriarchs, some more smaller arc around them. Have the Bastion, for example, 2 hornets around him. At number 2, most needed improvements, I got quicker turnaround time between raids. There should be more time spent on the upside than in Speranza. Right now it takes me about 1 minute to get a kit ready if I have all the items crafted already. But most of the time I need to craft some shield rechargers, some ammo, some heals, repair weapons, and craft or buy the items needed to do that. So 2 minutes to kit up is more realistic. That's one of the reasons why freeloaders are popular, because you can just press 2 buttons and jump into a raid. Sure, your kit might be bad, but if you are looking for quick turnaround times, freeloaders are the way to go. Then it takes way too long to unload your backpack. I often takes me another 2 minutes to do it. One of the reasons is that me and most of my friends are always full on their inventory. You want to put some needed components in your stash, but the 280 or 292 slots are just not enough. Arc Raiders has so many different components and items as you don't have enough room to stash different loadouts. Yes, guns don't take much space, but let's say you want to go to a Matriarch event with a Hullcracker and 2 rows of grenades, a snap hoop and 3 deadlines. That's already so many items you need to craft that. Even worse, if you want to take a Torrente with you, for which 3 of some medium ammo rounds is a common to take. Or just you want to craft 30 light impact nades to kill a Bastion. It's not enough stash room to keep components or items, so you can just fill up new PvE kits for a few straight raids. These are 3 solutions. Increase the stash size, have a button to equip your raider with a pre-saved loadout where the game crafts, buys or takes all the items from your stash required for that pre-saved loadout. And third, let's have a button that lets you add extraction, sell all the items you looted that you don't have marked as tracked earlier. At number 1, most needed improvement, I got reward PvE. Right now the best strategies to farm money, components and blueprints is to spawn in a cheap loadout or a naked loadout and open one container after another without doing any PvP, any PvE. It's basically a looting simulator. Want to know the best way to get BPs? Most YouTubers, for example, Gaming Merchant is in this vid, will tell you to spawn naked to Stella, run from one container to another, surrender if you are too late, and even surrender if you found a BP and put it into your safe pocket. What kind of extraction shooter is this where the best strategy is not to even extract? Need money? Again, when I search for the most efficient method, YouTube is full of vids like from Brock, where you can spawn into a raid with no gun, no shield, and you just run from one container to another. Look what are people writing in the comments. My grind to 2.5 mil burned me out and not interested in playing anymore, sadly. It's the most liked comment. If somebody doesn't think this is bad, just imagine a new Diablo game would come out, and instead of fighting bosses and killing monsters in difficult dungeons, the best method to get mystic items will be to run naked, not hit a single monster, just run from one chest to another. Blizzard will be laughed at creating a Diablo game where this will be the best option. This is the number one problem for me, because I am a little bit burnt out by all the running around to be the first to get into a room with high value loot or opening trash cans to find the missing BPs. The solution is simple. Let the bigger arc have a small chance of having BPs in their loot, and instead of having Bastions and other tougher arc walking somewhere in the open, let them have a few rooms or small buildings that are guarded by strong arc, where there is almost no way to run and loot the high value areas without killing the strong arc first. At least on the roadmap, Embark plans to add more shredders, but I hope they don't roam in random hallways, but actually protect rooms with high value loot. Let me know in the comments if you agree with my suggestions and what other changes could bring arc raiders to the next level.